All right, good morning. This is Banners of North America, episode 4. We have the clan High Realm of Bloodhold, or Bloodhold for short, and me and Warband are hosting the show. So, would you all like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Warbandman. I play for VK. I've been playing for like 5 years, Bannerlord, ever since it came out, since the beta. I do a lot of captain battles.
All right, and Mr. Cookie.
Yes, I'm Cookie. I'm the clan leader for HRBH, also known as Bloodhold or the Iron Rumble Bloodhold. I've been playing Bannerlord since its early access, so that's how you actually got it. You can get it before full release. Since then, though, I stuck mostly single player until recently. I think, yeah, recently. I do come from Mountain Blade Napoleonic Wars and Mountain Blade Warband specifically. And yeah, I think that's really it.
All right. Now, I've heard that game Napoleonic Wars a lot in this series. I haven't really asked too many questions about it, but maybe we'll get into that later on. Okay, so you know who everyone is, you know who is here and why we're here, so we'll get into the questions. First, I want to get a little bit of the background information about BH's, the clan itself. So I'll ask, starting off, how was it formed and when was it formed?
So the day the HRBH, or well, formerly known as BH, came to Foundation was on August 23rd, 2024. We formed originally on a game, well, on a mod pack that's in Persistent Bannerlord, not Persistent Bannerlord, but on a mod pack on Bannerlord Workshop called Persistent Bannerlord by Bot Yuri. Correction, I logged on to the NA server after playing one day on the U server, and I found it a Barren Wasteland. So I took over a little manor, a little township, all by myself, and I formed a clan called Bloodhold, named after the manor and the town that was called formerly Bloodstone. We went with our normal banner, which was just a snake and then a bloody castle, and we kind of just built it off there.
All right. Um, well, I guess that suffices. Do a lot of the people in your clan have a lot of experience, or did you form mostly just from whoever you could find, or is it like really dedicated, like old veteran players? 'Cause I know a lot of clans have their backbone in mostly warband, so a lot of their core players and leadership will be warband people.
So when I formed Bloodhold, we were working on people who have never touched Bannerlord, specifically Bannerlord multiplayer. Players who were just kind of logging in and finding there was no one on besides me, so they came over down onto the castle I was in. We kind of became friends there, and that's really how it started. Uh, I did have friends who played the Napoleonic Wars from Mountain Blade Warband, and just generally Mountain Blade Warband. None of them came with me, as they're mostly occupied by life. Nowadays, though, Bloodhound does contain a few veteran players, but we mostly consist of brand new players who are just touching Bannerlord for the first time or Bannerlord multiplayer. We have people who are just medieval enthusiasts who want to play that game they could never get like other games. So we don't really have the most experienced leadership, nor in terms of Bannerlord, nor the most experienced players of Bannerlord. But we consist of mostly eager and young folks who just want to play the game and want to learn how to play the game.
Okay, so it's a new clan for I guess new players, and you just kind of explore team play and the game itself together. That's it's pretty nice. There's not a lot of clans that have a focus on that. There are a lot of clans that have a big population of new players, but none that are. Would you say y'all are specifically focused on bringing new players and kind of teaching them, or just kind of does that just happen
Very
to
much.
be where you are right now?
So Bloodhound was founded on the process of, hey, there's no one else on. Let's group up make the server come to life, bring life into this community again. As when we got here, well, when I got here, it didn't seem very like it was. So that's the general idea. Bring players who never touch Bannerlord multiplayer or even Bannerlord itself, even after having game, and bring them into the multiplayer scene where they can enjoy their time, learn of the community, and honestly just have fun. Because well, the Bannerlord NA scene really has been in dire need of. It's just new people coming into the game, new people experiencing the game, and new people just honestly want to stay.
It's good to see clan that is targeted towards new players because that's pretty rare.
Yeah, not incredibly common. And that's it's a very good philosophy and kind of a starting point to the larger conversation here, because definitely new players and people coming here to have fun on a regular basis is what grows the server count and the interest and the amount of things that we're able to do. Like extending into like the content area, or like when people have out of server projects that they do, like big community things. So what you're doing here is definitely necessary for the focus, the capacity of what an A Bannerlord can be. So moving on then, would you say that the way, okay, so I mean, we were previously talking about new players. You get in new players, you train them, you kind of introduce them to the community. Getting new players in itself is a very hard thing. Most clan leaders, especially, will relate with that. How would you say HRBH, without divulging any of your secret kind of plans or trade secrets, how would you say y'all get in new players? Would it be more of just the regular way of just picking up whoever is in the server that doesn't have a clan tag already, or is it more of unique methodology?
Uh, so there is one game that I will not diverge that we get a lot of new players from, specifically who play the game that's almost like Bannerlord,
Is it
but it's
chivalry?
no longer around. It is not.
It is not. Okay. Okay. So yeah, you don't have to elaborate, but that answers the question.
Besides that, we used to go out, play the game, play native, like multiplayer consecutively, over and over again, just to grab people who wanting to learn, who just type in all chat or like any team chats to be like, hey, is there any events or is there a way to join a group here? And then we hit them up immediately. We don't really do that anymore. I'd say we've become slightly close off to actively recruiting. We don't, besides a few of us, none of us really now actively recruit, like by playing the game. But what we instead focus our methods on is the creation of content, organizing certain events and everything. Just talking with mostly the NA community, like the clan leaders. And then really just the main focus, once again, is content creation.
Content creation. Well, of all of the recruitment strategies, I think that's the most effective. Trailers are like the main thing that people are introduced by a game by, but also, especially with YouTube Shorts we were talking about earlier before the broadcast. There's thousands and thousands of shorts that people see on a daily basis. So if even 1% of that is Bannerlord content, then just statistically, it would be impossible to see an empty server in the coming months. So it's a good strategy. Good strategy. Warband, any notes before we move on?
Um, I just wanted to say it's interesting. You seem to be the first clan we've had on that is focused towards new players. It almost seems like clans don't really. There was even one clan that said that they were looked down upon for recruiting, anyone they could get their hands on. So it almost seems like some clans prefer to pick and choose who they bring into the clan. And I guess you've taken a different approach, which is nice. So I'll move on to my questions. Is HRBH a Bannerlord focused clan, or does it have other games that it plays together?
While we are primarily Bannerlord focused, we do play other games. Most recently, a bunch of Citizens 3, a lot of Paradox games, and Repo. Don't quote me on that Repo game. Besides that, though, we do tend to spend a lot of our time on Bannerlord. After that, though, it's always just a bunch sitting in the voice chat talking to each other. Mostly trying to be just as friendly as we can, introduce people to not only just a group that's just focused on Bannerlord, but a group that's just focused on being with others, being with like friends or compatriots that you don't even know yet, but the more you play with them, the more time you spend with them, the more of that bond you actually build with them. And that's what we really do focus on. So while we're not the most active, and I would say that happily that we're not the most active group in terms of numbers or just bandwidth prowess, we are one of the more friendlier groups, in my opinion. But that's honestly just my current bias, since that's what I found with the group.
So safe to say you're not exactly the most competitive Bannerlord clan out there.
Not at all. Not at all. We
Okay.
went to the game foundation knowing that we'll lose at the beginning. We came into the foundation that we're going to expect loss. And don't get me wrong, a lot of players that play Bannerlord want to win. And we do also want to win. But you can only do so much when you're so experienced. So we focus ourselves entirely about why did we get defeated? How did we get defeated? What can we do better?
Yeah.
Do we need to increase training for people? Do we need to increase our recruitment strategies? What can we do actually to better ourselves?
I see. That sounds like a good strategy. So, is it right that you have a mod for your clan?
Yes, we very much do have a mod pack. It is by far one of the most proud things I'm happy about our group. It's by far one of the biggest accomplishments I believe our group has.
Might want to save that for later. Well, I mean, you've already said it, but so what inspired you to make this mod for your clan?
So it first started when we were first going out and approaching the community, as we saw there was no real events, no real activity. So we came up with the idea, hey, what if we make a mod pack and then try running events? Or even use it as a way of training within our mod pack so that we can just simply make it look like everyone was how they want to. Which is why what's our mod pack entirely focused on. That is kind of what was the question again?
The question was, what inspired you to develop the mod pack?
Oh, yes. That was really honestly what inspired me. Just the idea of bringing life into this community. Because when I came to the NA community, it felt like a barracks. You had groups that formed, and then after day one, they never got back. They never communicated with each other. When I heard of all of the problems and everything, it did dissuade a lot of us, but a few of us that did stay were proud to be here, we're happy to be here, we had fun here. And I believe that we all do enjoy the mod pack that we made.
Okay, can you tell us about the process for making the mod and like who were the contributors to it?
So with the process of making a mod pack, to make a mod pack, you need to you have to download on the Steam Workshop a application called Mount to Blade 2 Bannerlord modding kits, where then it's primarily about the establishment of like making custom maps. But in that section of the application, there is a way to make custom modules, input custom armors, custom skins, custom assets as a whole. That's how it really goes by, and then you have to go to Bannerlord files itself, full panel, and put in a lengthy line of code to even then publish it on the Steam Workshop, and then publish it to then constantly update it.
Okay, I'm gonna follow that question up with a slightly more controversial question. We've had Atria on, as you know, and from what I've heard, there's a little bit of history between your clan and Atria, and they claim to have been the first clan to develop a multiplayer mod pack for North America. Did this have any influence on you making the mod pack?
Or I think
No,
I
not
don't know if the question was phrased in the most, I guess, enlightening way that it could be. Uh, there was specifically parts of it where the leader of Atria mentioned that the way that multiplayer servers kind of in NA, or not multiplayer servers, sorry, like mod packs in NA are kind of made up, are based on like a set structure, and what he said was that he kind of established that structure, like he is the one who set the formation, and then everyone else kind of reiterated it. uh, so I think what he's asking is, did that I guess format have did you base your server off of that format from the Atria
no,
mod?
not at all.
Not at all.
Not a single bit of it, in my opinion,
Okay.
is based on the HM mod. I grabbed my inspiration from looking over at the events. I would go back to what inspired me of the what inspired me to make the mod pack was looking at the quality from the EU, and then I did compare it to the HM mod pack. So if you want to use that as a semblance of influence, then yes, I did influence a little bit off the HTML pack, but on its way of functions, functionality, gameplay, I did not focus a single ounce of it on the HTML pack.
Okay. So it was more of a point of reference rather than like a like a set thing that you took and built off of.
No.
Okay.
What I primarily built my mod pack off was the KTE Sunday events hosted by King of Warbandman. They emphasize clan armor and clan skins. That way, each clan can have their own custom identity,
Okay.
which is what I draw inspiration off of. Besides that, after looking at BRE, CI, and such other events, it's really just being what really inspired the mod pack after leaving Atria was looking at that quality and then desiring to bring that quality to the NA community.
So what you're saying is that you had perhaps more influence from some of the European mod packs?
Yes, very much.
That's interesting. That's definitely probably you would get a different story if you asked Atria, but it's good to have to see, both sides of the story.
Well, maybe it's in fact two different stories. Say for instance, I think what Zach was saying was that the structure that he used was used in other clans, but I mean, if three clans copy it and then another clan makes their own thing, then it's not that everybody copied the first one. But the first one
Yeah.
that was there does always deserve some respect, so we'll give the shout out there for having something that was used as a point of reference to improve off of, which is how history works, and it's all cooperation. So let's see. Moving on to the next question here. What is the internal culture like outside of the server, outside of like the lore? Um, what is the culture of the way the clan interacts with each other? You mentioned like being very friendly with each other, being like in VCs, playing other games besides Bannerlord together. Is there any other ways or anything else that is exemplicative of the culture in HRBH?
Honestly, that's a tough one.
We can come back to
Because
it if
we
you want,
really
if you need time to think about it.
we really did try, and actually not did try, but have tried and have accomplished that if someone joins our Discord, they're easily able to see our voice chats that are always public, so that anyone that joins our Discord can just come on and ask some questions, see what we're about. They can gain some experience through the atmosphere because we like keeping things a little bit public. We like keeping things public with our own clan. There's no like, oh, because you're certain leadership, you're now in a certain leadership or in a certain position, you will not be shared to such information.
Mm-hmm.
We like to make everything primarily public, unless it's like after clan politics, then that is important.
True.
But
True.
with that, we pride ourselves entirely on our reputation as being non-biased or eliminate such politics or drama from ourselves
Okay.
that we stick ourselves out of it.
That's a really good point of trust, I guess, and community of favor is being, public and open and not, very, people won't think that you're talking about them in DMs because I'm sure that there's a lot of, not just clan leaders, but, officers and regular players that a lot of people are like, I don't want to tell that guy anything because I assume it's going to show up in a group chat that I'm not in.
No,
So, the blank slate that HRBH is working with right now, um, do you think that that has any special benefit outside of just the natural like legitimacy it has because you're not tainted with any scandals or any ill repute? Is there any other
would you
benefit you see to kind of
would you
your?
mind would you mind re-saying the question that I did? You did cut out a little bit of my
Oh,
part.
sorry. Yeah. So right now, HRBH, it's I guess a new clan. It's has great players, well connected people, media presence. And right now it does not have, just because of history, any previous like scandals or big kind of problems or issues that people within the community have had about it. My question to you is like, how do you intend to keep that, and also what benefits beyond just like the goodwill do you see it bringing to the community of HRBH?
So with that, like how we plan to keep up with our way of life and our outgoingness is honestly we we haven't been forced to remove anyone from the clan or have had problems with anyone that's left our clan for potentially better options or anything. Because once again, we're here to primarily kind of be honestly a stepping stone. I see my while many of my players would not agree with me here, I see my clan as honestly just the gateway as like a bridge to bring players into the game. But with that, I do know I did kind of dodge the question there, so I will revisit it. But the way we do that is just we make sure to inform everyone about our reputation, about the ideals that keep one whole moving, keeps our events going in that way that everyone has enjoyment here. Because we have a very strict anti-poaching policy. So if people do poach from us, it's not the biggest deal, in my opinion. Simply because, all right, if you're able to coerce someone to leave my clan, have them. Just take it. You can very much leave my clan. I will not throw a fit about it. It's not really my problem with you leave. Well, it sort of is, but it also sort of isn't. As I'm looking for people who are just that want to stick with my clan. If you can be easily swayed by like, oh, we win constantly, or hey, we're willing to pay you, or some of that sort of stuff. That's not really our cup of tea.
Not your cup of tea. Before you
Not my
before you
cup of tea.
finish your answer, I will say the audience is having a little bit of trouble hearing you right now. I think your mic is a little bit too far from your mouth.
Oh, my apologies then.
Oh, that's much
I'll
better.
try to bring it. I'll try to bring it a lot closer. Yeah.
Yes, that's heavenly. Sorry, continue.
uh, how we what was the first portion of the question again?
It was let's see. Oh man, I forgot it now. You answered so well. Okay, well, I guess we'll just move on. You pretty much answered what I was asking, it was essentially how your reputation is, how you plan to maintain it, and the benefits it brings. So we've kind of hit all
Yeah.
those points. Next question: who would you say? And I guess like there's the same kind of preface here that HRBH is a new clan. They haven't had too much history, but even with that in mind, what's it called? Which clan would you say is HRBH's biggest ally and biggest enemy?
Okay, now that is most certainly another toughie. As we try, I specifically tried keeping us in the standard of non-biasment by taking absolutely no permanent ally or constant ally. But one group that specifically that we do work along with that gets a lot of criticism for the NA community is that we work alongside KOTF, aka Kingdom of the Franks, led by King Charlemagne, or also known as King Gage, or as Gage, King of the Franks.
I'm
We
familiar.
work alongside with them a lot. Let's see. They're the first ones that brought us into the new events. That way we can check them out, see where we can grow that inspiration from. And and don't get me wrong, there have been many groups that are on friendly terms with HRBH that I could consider them friends, or even patriots, or just normal the people that aren't crazy. Which I will frame from you crazy.
Lomiei, that's your clan, right? KOTF.
KOTF is the clan that I play for currently. Yes.
So you guys are like buddies then.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I'm not too familiar with everything, the coordination wise between KOTF and HRBH. I'm not in the KOTF leadership, but yes, I do see that we do go to a lot of those events. I've streamed some of them. You probably know. I fight them a lot. I think they're very well made.
Exactly. That's which I'm glad that KOTF let us come along with them. It was a great experience. Heck, there were even when we disbanded for a time and then reformed, there was even before that there was talks of potentially just joining KOTF. Only for me to have to remind them constantly, no, we are not here to. That's not the premise of what Bloodhound is. The premise of Bloodhound was form a new clan, different and in its own right have its own identity to the other clans that have been here for several years. As we need new life into this community, and that was the entire That was one of the main founding reasons of HRBH, or formerly known as Bloodhound.
Okay.
So it's really hard to even think of us merging to another clan, simply because that goes against our principles.
I see. So you wouldn't consider yourself like in any like deep political relationships or networks because you're not a political entity. You're saying
No,
you're more of just more of a place than a person.
exactly.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, that's a great answer to the question. That's not one we've gotten before. Perhaps now that
And
people have seen it, they might change up their answers for future clans or something like that.
one thing, another back to the end of our biggest rival, HRBH does not have a rival.
It does not have a rival.
We do not. There's no clan that we hate. There is one clan that specifically hates us, but we do not hate them.
Would you like to name it, or would you rather leave it out?
Their clan, they've all been a lot longer here in the Bannerlord community than us. They're known as House Nefarious, led by Bloodhole. They hated us because of a search of one player's actions that was not part of our own plan, which led to a disastrous Death Lord, which a Death Lord is kind of just like trying to force someone off the game,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, which House Nefarious lost players that didn't want to play the game anymore, who now they still play Bannerlord, but they don't play Bannerlord multiplayer as a real state anymore. While what
So
they did to us,
there is a little bit of clan history there then. A little
there
bit of
very
an
much
episode.
is. What they did, but they had also done it as well to us, which is why we took on the adoption of okay, if they're forcing our players offline, we're gonna. And it very much didn't go like that. They lost players who quit Bannerlord multiplayer, and I lost players that quit Bannerlord as a whole. So, in that terms, I got the short end of the stick, really.
Wow, I've heard of doxing, I've heard of hacking, I've heard of people, doing a whole lot of stuff. I've not yet heard of wars where you try to make people from another clan leave the game.
Yeah, I can't attest for the amount of players that left House of Various or stopped playing multiplayer as in like a general point
Hmm.
sense. But the number I can say for my clan was 20 to 30 people,
Wow.
which I hold no ill harbors for them, but they they don't really like me and my clan in return. Though we didn't really have no preference with them because at the end of the day, after the end of the day, it's just a game. We're all here to have fun. My clan specifically regrets having to do that death, whereas that was the last resort, which we did come to the conclusion of the player that started it. Well, the two players that not only fueled the fire, but also continued the Death Lord experience.
Okay.
Though I will not name either sides, because one of them was, I believe, was from actual House of Various, while the other was a ragtag mercenary or player that was just enjoying our clan.
Ragtag. Okay, so before we move on, I have on your screen, if you're listening to this, hello. I hope you have a good shift at work. Most of you that I talk to listen to this at work for some reason. I'm currently showing the Bloodhold YouTube channel with 13 subscribers. Let's get that to, 30 by tonight, if we can. Subscribe to this, watch the content that goes on it. New clan, new channel-ish, so it's there for you. Now that you know, you have no excuse for not being subscribed. So I'm going to play this video in the background while we continue our chat.
It's all good.
Okay, so coming to the next question, you mentioned that your clan's mod was your greatest achievement, yes?
It's one of the greatest achievements, in my opinion,
Okay.
simply because when we got working, we gave it a week's worth of testing. And when I say a week's worth of testing, I mean a single day of testing.
Weeks. Okay, yeah, you just have 7 people there, right?
Oh, no, yeah. 7 guys, yep. Hopefully it was down 3 guys or 4. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Promise guarantee.
Okay,
Besides that,
with regard to, okay, so would you say that it's one of your greatest, do you have another greatest achievement as a clan, or would you like to focus on the mod and what it's
the
done for
Monpack,
you?
I'd say the 2 greatest achievements that I personally believe is in my clan's history or current history both coincide each other.
Okay.
So the mod pack is one of by far the greatest achievements that my clan has, as that was, I believe, in full on actuality, that was maybe 4 days worth of work.
It was 4 days worth of what,
Four
sorry?
days. That was 4 days worth of work.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 4 to 5 hours, by the way. So not actually the 4 days of actual just constant work.
Yeah.
And we got all set. We did a week of testing, aka doing all the training session, and then we're like, hey, you know what? We thought that I would point out to the H3 event. We saw that the H3 event started decreasing in players that were like attending. There seemed to be a lack of clans that attended. So I decided, all right, let's open our Friday event to everybody. We're going to DM 12 to 15 plus NA clan leaders and invite them all to attend our events and then work upon from there.
Okay.
We had We had, I believe, 14 NA clans attend. 160 players plus for our first event. And it went overly smooth. And it went well liked, well regarded already, just in the first event. That people were wanting more rounds and just more from the event. So,
Yes.
like I said, when our two of the greatest achievements, in my personal opinion, in my eyes, for a clan, was both coincide with each other because they're the two sides of the same coin.
Yes.
Our mod pack, which inputted all these clan armors, these custom banners, custom shields, where a clan could truly customize themselves to their functionality. We had
Yes.
gotten permission from the creator of Swaddling Armory, Vlandian Steel, and Vigor Armory to use their armors and then input them in the game.
Do you think sorry, I just wanted to ask, do you think your position as a neutral clan, sort of non-competitive, made it easier for you to host an event where lots of different clans attend it?
Most definitely. That's exactly why we plan to keep on maintaining such neutrality, where we at most times just refuse to uh, endure, engrave ourselves in syndrome to maintain our neutrality. Like, I can tell you now, there are probably lenders that actually talk to each other, and I am not one of them. I was definitely one of the more isolated clan leaders of my command, yet I'm not too isolated where they don't know about
So you don't know them well enough to have some kind of disagreement with them.
it. Nope.
Well, yes, that's definitely something useful in terms of the I was gonna say, like, PB is great for politics, and this isn't going off on a tangent too much. PB is great for politics. Outside of PB, clan leaders, clans shouldn't be in politics. Discord servers aren't the place. VCs aren't the place. Definitely, it is easier to communicate with a lot of people and not have any people being like, "Oh, don't answer that guy's DMs." If you're unaffiliated, even if you're like someone from a particular clan who has, like, lots of players, lots of power, you can't really DM everybody because there's a lot of people who just won't answer you. So your position, maybe as a neutral party, a third party, in some senses, does a lot to bring the community together.
Exactly. That's another one of the founding ideals that Blood Bowl was founded upon. Because when I found out the background of this game, of the NA community, from just playing Persistent Bannerlord, aka also known as PB, I found out that there were basically two clans that actually ran the scene. You were either LGIX, now known as SKLG, or you were Byzantine. And I absolutely found that important. I don't believe there should be either you're on team A, you're on side A, or you're on side B.
Don't forget about VK.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, like, it seems like we've kind of run ourselves as a community into the exact same situation, because you went from having two huge clans like LGIX and Byzantine to having two huge clans like VK and who else? Gondor?
Well, Gondor is just Byzantine rebrand. It's Byzantine and it's two old clans rebranded as one,
Oh, okay.
to my knowledge, which is Byzantine, primarily Byzantine, and then what's left of the Knights Templar, also formerly known as KT,
Okay.
and there are some different iterations. So like Dol Amaroth, and that's normal KT.
Honestly, side note here, but I wouldn't be upset if they split Gondor up into the three factions or the three clans that originally was, because
Is it big enough for
there's
that?
yeah they got, like, they can get 50 people on within 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They're massive. That, like, they get like 100 people. There's a siege event where they got just like 115 people, I think,
Damn.
just for the one event. Can you imagine, like 115 people,
Yeah. Was
and
that
they
was
all
that a
had
PB
to?
siege or like another server?
Yeah,
Uh,
it was PB.
I think I saw a link to that video. I haven't watched it yet, but I'll have to watch it. Everybody says it was epic.
So it very much was. So with that on the PB side, KOG, also known as the Kingdom Condor, on PB they have a bunch of clans that just run that are all basing together, just like how we've seen the coalition of 3 other clans known as the Fire Team, and
Okay.
then also Jato, who is just young, tall, and a clan called NATO,
NATO,
also
I've heard. I think
who
Atria is with
is
them too, right? Whoever on Atria is in
uh
PB.
no, I have no clue. Atria doesn't
I think Zach
attend.
mentioned it, but I haven't
To
seen him
my
on
knowledge,
myself.
Atria, yeah, to my knowledge, Atria doesn't do anything on PB anymore.
And they never
Besides that,
really liked. We heard from the leader that they never really, at least the leader didn't like the idea of going on PB ever.
I was signed up from what we are here about. That one of my time in Atria, I was told that I was going to be the one that ran Atria for persistent battle, for any persistence endeavor. That was how that ran. So Zach just kind of gave it all off to someone else of his leadership to lead because he does not want to do anything on PB, to my knowledge. We're like, oh,
So
you have to leave that process lead that was once there. We're like, oh, your your castle. You get, you know what, you get on your castle. It's like 9 in the morning or something, and you find out that your castle was taken at you lost your castle at 1 in the morning. And like, oh, now I have to go I have to go grab a flag and recapture it. So no one wants to do that.
Yep.
And I believe that's honestly gone away, but I could very much be wrong. But I've yet to see it. So yeah.
Well, that's a.
There had
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I will say for Super Airlord it's a toughie situation, in my opinion. Like how you were talking about how King of Bannerlord is able to rally 125, but that's only 4% available, my knowledge.
it's a little bit difficult to hear you right now.
Oh my. Is
Oh
that
yeah,
better?
your mic. Say again.
Is that better? Is that a lot better?
Oh yeah,
That's
that volume
better.
is a lot better. Yes, thank
Here,
you.
I will try fixing my voice chat. How better is that?
Much better.
It's a lot better.
All right.
You kind of sounded like you were walking around your room earlier.
I do have that habit. I will say, I do have that habit.
You know, I do
I
when I'm on the cell phone, I'll like, lay on the floor, hang upside down from the rafters, everything.
when
Um,
I'm in a conversation that that's virtual, I find it's a lot easier to gather my thoughts personally, just by wandering around.
yes, yeah, there's something
Oh,
about like conversation where you just can't sit still. It's like a child
yeah,
sitting at a table. You can't keep all your limbs in the same place at the same time.
exactly.
All right. Okay, so I guess we will move on to the next couple of questions then. Warband, do you have any notes before we do?
Um, no, not really. I
If
mean,
not, I
I
will
was I
say,
was just wondering about the size of the other clans that play PB, such as Jado and uh, KOTF, because in the previous event, VK had like 60 guys on, and the other clans were bringing maybe 30 guys at most. So I wonder if that's just because they're smaller clans, or if they don't have as many persistent Bannerlord players. Maybe you could enlighten me, either one of you.
So in my personal opinion with that is that events are like timed and scheduled wise, while a PPC could be honestly at the moment's notice. So and with that, everyone has like life situations or just things they have to do in life. that they just can't, they can't put down everything in the minute of 2 seconds and be like, all right, I'm hopping on.
Yep.
I mean, it was a planned event, but it was planned by VK, so maybe the other clans didn't feel as involved in it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we've had kind of a not a debate, but there's been a lot of differing opinions on how much communication between clan leaders and members and leaders that there really is. Um, so yeah, you could see how something like that would result in
With
lots of
that,
people not knowing.
yeah, with that, I would say that it would have to depend on how not only isolated you are as a clan leader, but also how you position yourself as a reputation there. So, like, say with VK, VK puts themselves up as the big bad, the big terror on the NA community. They have no problem with that, which is completely fine when you need that. But if you then want to host events or like gather people up and you screw everyone over or like you piss everyone off, it's from that standpoint, it's it's almost difficult to do that.
Well, it's funny actually because on PB, it's almost the opposite. It's like Gondor's the big bad guy because they have the most
I've seen
guys,
that too.
and everybody else wants to go against them because they
Or really doesn't want
obviously
to go against them. They'll do
that's
everything to
the
not do
like
that.
that's the only thing you can do really is band together against the biggest threat. You know.
I do understand that point of view. I personally dislike it at times because what's the point of like playing TB or like any persistent or iteration if it's just going to be two sides?
Yes.
In my personal opinion, it's more developing to see clans fighting other clans and just hey, let's have every clan group up together and then fight one other clan, or let's have a preordained battle. Like, don't get me wrong, those are nice and everything, but it's always nice to see the small battles, the small
Yes.
clan wars that happen. Like,
Yeah, I
I
think
think they're
the problem with that is really the fact that Gondor is so much bigger than all the other little clans. So when it comes down to it, like there's not much you can do except you have to, you know, ally yourself because there's a clan that's much bigger than you. But if that clan was split up into three different clans, maybe it would be a different situation.
of course.
yeah, I don't think there's anything cringe about or like anything, that people wouldn't like about some kind of instance where for example, the previous episode with Zach, he said open up the map, smaller clans will be able to do whatever they want, they won't be, fighting over these limited spaces with these big people with um open up the maps, get people, individuals, smaller groups to like the environment of PB and all that, and it'll be a better, more fun experience, right? Um, I don't think there would be anything wrong with, for example, like places like Gondor, VK, to some degree, like KOTF, maybe Jar, something like that. Agreeing like, hey, maybe we leave one spot of the map, for example. We leave one spot of the map open for like smaller clans, individual players. If they go over there, whatever, we won't harass them. Because I think the biggest issue with doing these things, because it's possible for people to explore the world or go and RP or do smaller wars, but the issue is you just get like 20 VK or 20 Gondor guys coming and halting everybody, killing them if they don't, and then
Well,
just walking away.
That's happened before, I do believe. And it happens even with, I can say it while knowing it's a small clan, well, as a smaller clan compared to the others on PB, is that when you do small clan wars as well, there's chances that they become just big clan wars because either clan A decides, hey, we don't have as many players, so we'll hire mercenaries. And then clan B seeing that is like, oh shoot, we need more people. We need more people to actually battle this out
That's
and
right.
potentially even
You know
have a
what it's
chance.
like?
Okay,
It's like in real
So
life
it's a hard
when
issue.
World War One happens or when World War Two happens. Like a small conflict turns into like a massive, you know, full scale war because of a chain of alliances, basically.
and with that though, because of that, because clan A decides, hey, we're gonna hire a bunch of mercenaries. Clan B either has to do two either options, or well, maybe even three. They clan B can either hire mercenaries of their own from another clan. They can ask another clan for assistance, or they can open their gates wide open and be like, "Hey, any outlaw that wants content, wants a war, wants free gear, come right on in."
I
That's
think
not a bad
the
idea.
only way you can really avoid this is one, if you split up the big clans, and two, if you which is not going to happen most likely, and two, if you had more than one war running at the same time, and the wars didn't, there was some kind of rule that you can't, like if you're at war, you can't interfere with another war going on unless you, I don't know, there would be some complicated solution.
But no, I will say I will agree with Warband there. There has been an instance already on this current PB iteration that there were two wars of two different times going at the same time. And it was beautiful. It was lovely. There was one small clan war and there was one big clan war.
And
So
what
like
happened? Did the wars converge?
no, they actually did not. Clan A, one clan hired mercenaries, the other opened their doors to, hey, we're so outnumbered right now because it's so late that we need to just open our gates to outlaws. We need as much assistance. Because there are times where like outlaws will, not all outlaws will just join you the moment you open your gates. And it depends on like how those players of the outlaw faction just sees your clan. And it can either be for the good or it could be for the bad.
So is this another spot where it's like out of server biases affect the game too much? Where like,
Uh,
individuals kind of decide whether or not they would you say like I don't know too much about the outlaw thing in PB. Is that like you can just do whatever you want, or is there ever a spot where they all group
so
together, or they all have to do the same things
it
and stuff?
depends. It really depends. So there are at times outlaws will just group up together because they want to fight. They want to fight and they use any excuse that they have to fight. That's what a lot of, like even if clans are there when clans aren't doing things, their players will go outlaw to either A screw with other people or B just have fun, which you can't really hate. But at times it's also the place where a lot of players go if they want to get away with room breaking or if they just don't want to be in a clan. Like I cannot fathom the amount of times I've spawned in, tried helping new players like out, and I mean completely new players who've never touched this game. They're talking in all chat because they don't know about local chat, they don't know about voice chats, and there are just outlaws that are sitting outside the commoner spawn, which you're not supposed to do, and they will either A ult you or B watch you walk 3 feet away from the commoner spawn, and then they'll halt you. And since you have no clue what a halt is, they will just kill you.
I think I know the problem here is that where is the town watch? They're not online, are they?
Well, yeah, Town Watch can't be on 24/7.
Of course.
They just because they Town Watch acts as a group of players that try their best, and they're on during peak hours. Don't get me wrong; they do a nice job. But when it's 12 in the morning, or when some guys just trying to learn and Town Watch isn't there, they are left to the mercy of the outlaw.
I'm making a
Where
little
So it kind
I'm
of
making
becomes
a
the
little
same
joke.
issue as all the other clans and doing war with each other. It's that people can't
exactly,
be not relied on. It's just it's inconsistent. You can't guarantee that people will be there or stay there.
exactly,
I was kind of making a
and
little joke because from what we know, Atria, I guess, is like the core of the town watch,
Oh
right?
yes, yes.
uh,
Zach did mention that.
I can't say much for that. I do know that a lot of my players from HRBH are also on Town Watch. There are players who are from DK. There are players who are just non-clan affiliated. Like even I'm whitelisted to play Town Watch, and I play Town Watch every now and then, but I'm not always on 24/7.
Yes,
And even then, what can one player do against 3 to 4 outlaws, or even 5 outlaws? Or
especially
So
since
they're just
you're a
the
clan leader.
town watch,
Like,
is kind of like the people who go after the bandits,
like
right?
a lot of my players joined Town Watch simply because they see the outlaw plague,
hmm
and they dislike how those outlaws specifically play because they ruin the experience for newer players who have no clue about this game. Because usually outlaws are players who consist of people who aren't wanting to be clan affiliated. Their clan's not doing anything, or they're full of the people who are good at the game and only want combat. They're not here to surf. They're not here to gather. They're not here to roleplay. They're just here to battle. They're here to play against people that are below them in skill and wreck them. And then if they stay, they stay. And if they don't, they get wrecked. They just leave. So like I've seen a bunch of players that just that apply for Town Watch because they've seen that and they don't want persistent Bannerlord to die. But even then, they can't be on 24/7. They can't be around here 24/7. They can't be around here all the time. And also, Town Watch is you have to be whitelisted to play Town Watch. While with Outlaw, it's a public faction, so you don't need anything. You don't need to do anything. There's no I have to go through there's no scanning or what's the
barriers or like
there's no
application.
there is no idea of who plays Outlaw, why they want to play Outlaw. Are they just here to play the game and then rule break, or are they here to ruin the experience? Because I've known people who play Outlaw because they just don't want PB to live. I've talked to those outlaws. Those are the types of outlaws that sit outside your door as a clan, as a small clan that's just forming up. So when you're a small clan, you're maybe 4 dudes. You could be a clan of 4 dudes, and there will be 3 to 4 outlaws that will sit outside your gate. If you open that gate, you get halted, or they go inside your castle, or they then just run around, and if you try telling them to leave, they kill you. They kill you, they steal your gear, and because you're a new group, or like new players forming a group, you are not as well skilled or well versed in combat compared to them, and they dump on you. And it's like, okay,
are you speaking from experience here?
I am specifically experienced because going back to the Death War with House of Farius, that's how the Death War started.
Oh,
so some outlaws attacked your clan?
No, very much like that as well, but also just some of the players. And we know it was them because they just rock clan decks, and then again, if also they run with that clan during the battles and everything. It's like okay. But still, again, there is no I and my clan don't harbor any ill feeling or ill intent to them. The House of Farius. I believe that both sides were in the wrong, and as such, it's just water in the bridge.
Water under the bridge. This is it's history and not justification for current feelings.
Exactly. But don't get me wrong. You can hate my clan. You can gladly hate my clan.
Just come to the
But if you're gonna hate my clan, you can hate my clan in your own way. Not, hey, I see people join your clan. Let's ruin their experience and make them leave. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And I personally hold no ill heart, like malice at anyone that's hurted my clan or anything, unless you do one thing. You force people to give up this game. You make their experience so bad that they don't want to touch this game ever again. They want they put multiplayer and either play single player or they just go off and play open.
Yep.
That is when I am not a nice. That's when I start getting pissed off.
Maybe you need to call in the KOTF guys to help protect your clan so that you don't get attacked by, victimized by.
Maybe someone should form a clan that joins PB and all they do is just go around and be like white knights, like heroes of every situation. But
you've had clans that do that, but then again, it's not something that they can do 24/7. It's not something that they can do on the moment's notice if, like, say one of them are on, and like it's not something that's sustainable.
Yes, not something that's consistent because there's no high demand for it. There's a high demand. There's not a high supply. There has to be someone willing to give the service in order for the service to be given, and then someone to take the service. Obviously,
exactly. It's not sustainable.
Not sustainable.
And then also with persistent Bannerlord, everyone. And I mean, the competition for players is competitive.
It is. It is.
Like
But
it's almost entirely impossible to get castles or like structures by yourself, like as a clan, where you're. Which don't get me wrong, I love that because you have to vie for your own place, but also it's like there are four clans that always just stick together 24/7.
hmm
They can't be beaten. Like it's just like okay, it's like why do you do this? It becomes eventually bland, in my opinion.
Honestly, it just sounds like a map issue for the most part because when I got in the map for the first time, it's a beautiful map and everything, but the castles are literally within like you can see them.
yes, you can.
Like it like during the event, I thought we were gonna do like a 10-minute march to the enemy castle. It was like no, it was like literally right next to us.
Yeah, it was like 80 seconds.
I was like,
Yeah, so
what?
don't get me wrong. I at times feel that the map is too small, and there are times where I love the map, how small the map is, because it lets you interact with people, including both. Like, if you have too many castles and you make the map too big, expecting each clan to have their own castle, it doesn't work. Because there are clans that will specifically base together because they don't want to play as their own clan.
Yes,
What
There,
about
makes sense.
what about
I
this
think
idea?
though there has to be I think the best balance would be a bigger map, and here's why. The clans that want to like paint the map and they have to, conquer everything and constantly be at war with other clans and do stuff like that. If they can actually do that, that's great for them. They should be able to get the benefit of their skill. For clans that want to, take a clan for a day, that they don't even think PB is going to be around next week, so they'll take a castle and they'll just disappear. That works for them. It works for the big clans. It works for the little clans that want to take a castle, hold it. Works for the clans that want to group together. Maybe make a kind of an imperial faction or whatever. I think the bigger the map is, the more options it gives people, and the smaller it is, it gives more power to the people who don't care. Like people who
yeah.
don't care, or
Uh,
people who like would prefer everything to remain how it is, or even map to be smaller or something like that. Bigger, better clans, and skill wise, would definitely be more incentivized for that.
And let me just add something because even the biggest of clans, I think they only have one castle, and it's like it's there. It seems like it's assigned to them almost, and they like even if they win a siege, they are most likely. I think it was in the rules that they have to return the castle to the original clan that owns the castle.
I know there are
So it's like
agreements, like there are agreements for people to fight and
So
like siege a
okay,
castle and then give it back, but I don't know if everybody always follows
so
up on that.
okay, all right. So the way that works is that clans will times declare war on clans for their castle, which okay, that's so fun. That's fun. You know what? My clan is actually declaring on your castle, your clan, to take your castle. That is where you just then do a castle swap, which that's okay in my opinion because you're not in the rules of PvP. You're not supposed to own more than one castle, and I can say that from personal experience where I got grilled upon for holding three castles by during because a war ended because we fought a war just under allies who were playing. They weren't on the time. Ah,
but to me that is kind of almost a problem in itself because it sort of removes a lot of the incentive. I mean, sure, for now it's fun to get on PB and fight and everything, but if your clan is just holding on to the same castle and you're not expanding, you have no there's no room for expansion. It's not like you can be like, come on everyone, let's go capture this manor house and increase our holdings. It kind of seems like um, it would be better if they had the ability to expand the map
Yeah,
so
especially
that
since it's
people could.
Bannerlord. Like you can go anywhere
Yeah.
in single player Bannerlord. Every single city or settlement has, like each ended everything that they need. It has a court, a bank, whatever. Um, in multiplayer Bannerlord, you come there. It's like Bannerlord online. I tried Bannerlord online. I hated it because it was literally just you could, go and get, robbed by bandits a whole bunch of times, but you couldn't actually hold or siege castles. I was like, why would I want to play that game?
uh, I got nothing really honestly left to say about personal Bannerlord, so
Yes, it's a great topic for a while, but you gotta talk about other stuff. This is a great game, big community, lots of stuff going on in NA. So, moving on. Warbandman, what is the next question?
Okay, so what reasons do you have for continuing to play Bannerlord even when it gets unpleasant, like a little bit how you described earlier?
So for me and personally, I don't find myself ever getting burnt down with a Bannerlord because I enjoy the game. There of course there are most definitely times where I'm like, okay, why am I even playing this game? And I'll admit, I have thought about quitting Bannerlord before because of that, but then again it's like, alright, it's such a great game. I love Warband, I love Napoleonic Wars, I love the idea of a Bannerlord. It's like, okay, I'm always doing that. I am always coming back. I don't think I will quit Bannerlord still. It's always just alright. I need a little break. Think about what did I do before? Is it on par with what I'm doing now? Or is it better? And in my opinion, it's always better. It has always been better.
Okay, what is your current overall goal for your team? Is it more game focused or is it more community focused?
I would say it's more community focused, as that's always been the mission and the foundation of the clan, where we wanted to bring life into this community. And I believe we're also doing a great job of it. I absolutely believe we're doing a great job here. Because we've gotten groups that don't play events anymore to come back to play events. They're getting back into the Bannerlord and they're coming to the events again. And they're having fun with it. Now I can't say how long that lasts, but I also know that by doing such things, by bringing in such content, it intrigues newer players and like new people to buy the game or get back into the game. And they're like, "Oh, awesome!" They'll join up a clan. I really don't care what group they join, so long as they're having fun. Really.
All right, yeah, that sounds good. So you're trying to build up your clan, get some new players in, and grow the community, which are all good things. Are there any projects that your clan is working on besides your mod?
Absolutely. So we almost had a fully functional Lord of the Rings mod pack. It did break on us, so we did have to cancel it for a bit, but it is back on the table again.
You mean a
Of
mod pack
course,
for line battles or like full invasion is?
a multiplayer mod pack that's based around our events, but themed on the Lord of the Rings. So line
Okay.
battle events. So what Team A will be like the kingdoms of the Arda, or like so dwarves, men of like Rohan, the Numenorians, the Gondor, Rivendell, Lothlorien, Mirkwood, or the Woodland Realm, however which one you would like to go. And then against the Shadow of Arda, Mordor, the Moria,
That sounds
Boomnabad.
awesome.
He
Where did you
knows a
get the
lot of
models?
lore.
Where did you get the models from for the mod?
So we were given permission from the creators of Tales of Age of Men to use their models. So as their single player mod pack evolves and
Tales
honestly
of
comes to
what?
Tales of Age of Men. Tales of Age of Men. I was originally hoping that maybe we could gain access to the Kingdoms of Arda, but I have no clue about their
Oh,
stasis anymore.
Tales.
So
Tales of Age
I
of
I
Men.
have the mod pulled up on the stream. Tales from the Age of Men, the Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord mod.
Thank you. I wasn't fully sure anymore what it was. I could be wrong.
I'm
I could be
scrolling down the main page of the
yeah. Okay.
download. Yeah, here it is.
Oh,
But yeah.
and
Anyway,
They have it released, I think, right?
They do have it released in a sort of playable way. It's not completely done, but it is in the process of being completed. Which I gained access. I gained permission to use their assets, so we ported over their assets and we're implementing them into the multiplayer game into our own mod pack. That way we can do Lord of the Rings themed events. And then
That's
another thing
awesome.
we've also gotten permission from Carolina Warlord, the creator of one of the Game of Thrones mod packs, to use their assets as well. So we're also working on a Game of Thrones mod pack, and as well with that, we are currently just waiting for permission from the mod team from the Old Realms. Which, if anyone knows that is the Fantasy Warhammer 40k basically iteration. It's Fantasy Warhammer. So we haven't gotten permission from them yet. We're hoping they'll give us permission. They haven't gotten back to us in a while, but it's always on the plan that can we get permission and then can we bring over a Fantasy Warhammer mod pack? So like you'll see the armies of chaos, the Empire, Bretonia, the Tomb Kings, the Vampire Counts
Bretonia.
of Sylvania. Yes.
I've heard of that name
Bretonia.
before. It sounds incredibly familiar.
The Lizmen of Lustria, the Dark
Wow.
Elves, the High Elves, the Wood Elves, all of them. We hope
So
to bring them all over.
I'm guessing you. What game is that from? Warhammer, you said? I'm guessing
Fantasy Warhammer.
you may have played that game before.
I very much have.
Well, I personally would be interested in the Lord of the Rings multiplayer pack. I wonder, is that unique to? Was it only granted to your clan, or are there other groups that are working on it?
There's another group there, you got from EU, from Europe. They're called the Team of Fordland. Sam Blues, they got permission in the same way as we did by asking. Of course, they have their own mod team as well. Like that's more experienced and more well endowed. So like they have their own custom mod assets that they've used and that they've created into that mod pack as well. But they've already put it into action for the EU community, and we're currently working on bringing it to the NA portion as well. Because what we want to do is bring the quality that's from EU and bring it to the NA community.
Well, that's very cool. I'm excited for the release of that mod. I hope I can play it someday. Well, Lomiei,
All
you
right.
can continue
So,
your section.
before I do, we have a comment from Brendan Winter Nelson. Firstly, thank you for watching so many of these episodes. You are a trooper. I heard HRBH, I'm Holding Blood, is his best player. I assume that's a player in your team with a strange name, honestly, a bit of a long name, but a good one. And his question is his best player, is this true?
I do not know. I believe that is more of a meme name by one of our other guys. He just puts on other little names. That's not an official member. It is an official member, I will say, but it's a player from our clan that's just putting on a different name.
A different name. But the player that he's referring to, are you aware of his skill level relative within your clan, or is that something you want to talk about on the broadcast?
I am not sure about that. I would say like two players that I know in fact that are probably our higher amount of skill. Well, players that I've seen and know are most likely Thought Killer, also known as Thought Patrol. He was just promoted recently to the rank of Blood Knights, which Blood Knights are like our top players. So they hold the title Blood Knights for those who are the most well versed in combat for us. We also have a player known as Laxlupop, who he's had a little bit of controversy recently on Persistent Bannerlord, but he is also another one of our best fighters.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So, thank you for that question, Mr. Winter Nelson. The next question for you, Mr. Cookie, is how do you think the NA community can be improved and extended into the people who only play single player? So you mentioned content as the number one thing. In what other ways besides content, because that's obviously like a big benefit that not a lot of people use. Besides that, what other ways can new players be brought into the community by people that are here?
Uh,
And how do you think that once they're here, the community can be made better?
oh, that's another one. Okay, so obviously, if we increase of content creation, so by posting on like YouTube, TikTok, or whatever you want to use the content creation, social media, that's another way to bring people into the game. Besides that, it's like making sure that there's trying to establish there's just no clan drama, which excuse me, that's almost entirely impossible to do. But so it's to the point, so long as it doesn't put that there are clans that are actually fighting against each other to kill each other, and I need to make them quit the game. So long as that doesn't start happening again, I believe they will regrow and they will regenerate. It'll come back together. They'll regrow up. So long as the clan leaders themselves can not destroy themselves.
Not destroy themselves.
If
Indeed.
they can, if they cannot bring themselves down, if they don't let clan drama dictate their actions, I really believe they'll be fine. Like, also, my personal opinion is just by opening another event. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my event that I run, but even I even I love seeing other events. I love seeing the other takes from other clans, and it's also just like we've seen what happens already. What happens when there's just a single clan that monopolizes the events? Because then you have to go through them at all times. It's like, okay, you know what? We could possibly just ban you if you're not on good terms with us, and the next thing you know, you can't come to the event.
Are
It's like,
you
okay.
referring to a specific clan here?
I am referring to the UK ban that Atria did,
I
which,
see.
in my personal opinion, ruined the Atria event. They were getting banned indefinitely from an understandable reason, but then again, just expecting. I haven't seen really any evidence of what happened, so I can't say much about that. But to ban a group, an entire clan indefinitely, without, and to my knowledge, informing other groups or anything, it doesn't work out. It sets the standard that you can either adhere to us and come to our events, which Atria, in my personal opinion, made their events seem more prestigious than it really is. Like if you played an EU event and an NA event like was Atria's, you would see a clear difference in quality. And then if you played when my event came out, if you played an Atria event and then my event, you'd see the quality difference.
Earlier, you said that you would like to see multiple events happening at the same time. Does this sentiment extend to the Atria event, or would you
Oh yeah,
like to see
no,
that come down?
no. My clan still attends the Atria event because it's another NA event. My clan is about the NA. We don't rally as many people for EU events. Don't get me wrong, we still attend them a little bit, but not as much. When it comes to EU, we can rally maybe 10 guys, but when it comes to NA, we rally 15 to 20, even 22 at times.
Interesting. Okay. So, with that said, I wanted to ask a side question, but I forgot it, so I'll ask it later. For now, what is HRBH's final message? And we're not closing here yet, but what is HRBH's final message to the new players, one, the average players, and the other clan leaders? If you can get all three to the
Well,
same answer.
to new, well, the new players, Any clan wants you, all right? Any group wants you. I'll happily take you and teach you along the ropes. If you would like to use my clan as a step to step, that's fair. If you want to use a different clan, go ahead. I would say though, this is the perfect time to get back into the anime community because a lot of the clans are trying to better themselves. Like I heard tales of like VK being the worst, and they are putting themselves up. It's like okay, you know what? They're playing something. They're trying to be better, which is all right. For the already players that are here or the single player, I think it was
Yeah, the average
a
player.
single player. Yeah, but the average player.
Yeah, the average multiplayer player.
If you want to increase like the enjoyment that even we have, you can just come on. You can just come sign up or join a clan if you really want. You don't have to, but so long as you're playing multiplayer, in my opinion, that's already a great improvement. And for the clan leaders or anyone that wants to form up as a new clan, be my guest. There are a bunch of people that would love to see new clans. I myself believe that we need more new clans. Of course, there are other groups that will try telling you that, hey, you should try merging. In my opinion, merging, it doesn't work. From what I've seen, it doesn't work. From what I've heard, it doesn't work. And it's just not good.
Well,
because by merging the clans,
I just
takes
want to
away.
say, what do you mean by doesn't work?
So when you're merging into a clan, there are two standpoints. You have leadership A from the original clan, and then you have leadership B, who are from that clan that are merging into that. There, of course, they come for different mindsets. There can be times that one mindset that works, and of course there are disagreements.
Oh, you're probably referring to the
Well, I don't know if he's
Atria.
referring to any particular instance.
I'm not referring to anyone here.
Okay, well, I just wanted to perhaps push back on that a little because we have seen that Gondor has been a merging of I think 3 different clans, and they seem to
We
be
also
doing
see
fairly well.
Jaw. I mean, what FMGK mentioned when he was on here was that he does keep Taw and Jom separate. Like Jaw is a thing now, but the two clans are separate entities. They just play when they play games. They play together, kind of in the same spot, but they're separate outside of the server entities. Um, Now I kind of get what you're saying is like if you're getting two separate entities and you're trying to make into it like one cohesive unit, there are going to be a lot of problems, especially the disagreements between the old leadership, egos and everything. But what Atria said, what Zach said, was that a lot of the uh, kind of activity and the player base uh, is comes from other clans that kind of join with his. Like Atria is a long lasting name if nothing else, and new clans or old clans that have a few people. There's always kind of an incentive somewhere to join up with other people and unify and become bigger like that. Would you say that there's any legitimacy to that, or are there dangers that the average person doesn't see in merging?
It's really just how accommodate can those two groups like work together? Are they willing to accommodate with each other? Are they willing to? Are they going to be two separate entities like Jaw, aka Paw and Yom? Or are they merging into one entire clan where you take upon their clan tag, you follow their clan's leadership, when you still only follow your other clan's leadership? Right.
Yeah, it's the tags and the Steam groups. Like whatever tags you have in Steam groups you're in, that's the one that your primary is, assumedly. We can
It's like trying to assimilate a different group of people into another culture.
It's like
I I
like
see I see the clans as their own self identity, in my personal opinion, and it works like that. By
it's like a
trying, my bad.
sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead, Warband. What's that
I
like?
was just gonna say when you said that, it reminded me of like immigration, like people coming into the United States. from other countries trying to integrate. It's
I was
like
gonna
a
say
mess.
careful, but that's a perfectly good comparison. Perfectly good comparison. Um, so I did forget the side question I was gonna ask, but we will go through the comments one more time and see if there's anything. Well, I guess we'll ask the commenters. We have 12 people concurrently watching this right now. If there's any questions you want to ask, you have about 3 or 4 minutes before we skip you. Uh, Before we do that, though, is there any final thoughts that you'd like to give to the broadcast or the community or just the universe, Mr. Warband, and then Cookie?
Um, well, I would like to just give Cookie a chance to finish whatever thought he was having before I kind of interrupted him.
No, it's really all right. I may have lost the thought after getting cut off.
Happens to
Like,
the
all
best of
right.
us.
All right. Well, other than that, I don't really have anything.
Okay. And Mr. Cookie, any final messages to anybody?
Oh, we have a question from the audience.
Oh, yes. Okay. So Red
Do
Knight.
you have any proposed changes to Persistent Bannerlord that would improve the player experience?
Oh, that is, it's not really my take there, but in my personal opinion, from what I've heard and seen, I would honestly just, and this was probably one of the more unpopular ideas.
Okay.
Just get rid of Outlaw, because back before this map actually came out, there were two PB iterations, and the Outlaws abide by the rules, but when those rules turned against the Outlaws, they took over a castle, formed the Outlaw army as a clan, not as on the Outlaw class anymore, not on the Outlaw public faction, but as a clan of Outlaws. And then they had to abide by the clan rule sets. And it worked really nice well there, in my opinion. But then again, that's just my personal opinion. I'm not a big fan of Outlaws because I've just knowing what they do a lot, knowing what they are. I just truly believe that Outlaws should just be taken out.
Mm. Uh, I don't know if I disagree. I mean, there's hundreds and thousands of people who are already trying to kill you and rob you. There doesn't need to be a whole kind of, lawless faction for it. And I guess whatever those players in those outlaws are doing, they'll be doing something a little bit more productive. Because I think I was thinking earlier about the I appreciate the fact that there is kind of this agent of chaos to make sure that no matter how much people organize or people try to get together and unify, there's always this agent that, like, there's always an active force trying to bring everything down to like the base level of everything. But
Don't get me
the
wrong,
fact
it's
is,
nice and everything.
if it doesn't have that kind of attempt to civilize from the other people, which we don't right now in PB, then yeah, the bandits just everything is bandits essentially, if that's
Yeah.
the case.
Like, honestly, I say this for anyone else that surfs for hours upon hours. I would rather be robbed by someone that's in a clan because they have clan restrictions on robbing people
Mm-hmm.
over an outlaw who, when you fight when you're pulled by a clan, you technically have a way of actually surviving and keeping at least some of your gear. With an outlaw, there is no talk. It is you should fight. That is why people play outlaw. That is why they hold as outlaw, because it is the ideal that if I hold you, you're gonna fight me. And I will, because I'm a better player, I'm going to win. And if you do abide by my holding, sure, you will get away with your life, or you fight and potentially try keeping all your gear. But if you do abide by what I hold you for, you lose everything. You lose 5k gold, or I think it's 5k gold in the rule set. You lose your weapons, you lose everything on your back.
Mm-hmm.
But with a clan, all they can take is your weapons and a little bit of your money.
Okay.
So with a clan holding you, you can at least survive and have something left. But if you get halted by an outlaw, you have to fight. You
You have to
either
fight.
fight or Unless you're sitting on a mountain full of gold, you fight. Like if I'm running around with like 300k on me, which I never am, I will happily just fight the outlaw, because if I die, sure they wouldn't, they get like 12% of my money that's on my person, but at least then I have the chance to put up the fight and survive and potentially even win, or delay them for one of my friends to come over and help me out.
Yes, yes.
And then if you try running though, and you say you get away, the outlaws, there's some stupid rule where you need two people to have KR inside you, or like you need to have KR on two guys inside the castle to then break down the door.
Mm-hmm.
If you run away, you get away successfully, they'll gather other outlaws with them, and then head over to your castle to then break down your doors under the premise, hey, he's inside your castle. Well, he's actually not. I say that with knowing from personal experience, because they've done it to me before. And I say it knowing that's how they work. If there are times where outlaws will try holding you on the other side of the wall, using that and say, you're inside your castle now, I'm going to break down your door. I'm in. Like, okay. And then, of course, you have the outlaws who just sit outside your door and be like, hey, you leave this castle, I'm gonna kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, no one wants to hop on the game just to leave a castle and get robbed. They don't want to just play the game, hey, now I have to sit in my castle for God knows how long because my clan is ill-equipped. Because they have to fight outlaws 24/7.
Yes, yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who don't want to spend most of their time organizing the chests because they can't go outside.
Exactly. There's also times where, like, hey, an outlaw raid has their duration limit of 30 minutes, like before you can do another outlaw raid. If they'll do that raid. It'll last 30 minutes or something because it's pure combat because they have KR and everything. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna keep on going. And then you do beat them back, but hey, those 30 minutes went by. We can do another outlaw raid. Let's go. It's like, okay, why am I gonna play this game when I have to deal with an outlaw raid every minute?
Well, can I just ask a question? Because personally, I would probably almost welcome a little bit of action if I was playing the game because, like you have a chance to kill. It seems like maybe these players are like really, really, really good because the way you're describing it, that you can't even leave your castle, makes me think that maybe there's a big skill gap there.
Oh, there is. There very much is.
Okay, so that's the problem. And I heard about, similar problems for previous iterations of similar roleplay servers on similar modules for either for Warband or for Bannerlord, and it's kind of a problem that doesn't really seem to have a solution. I mean, it's been going on for like more than 5 years.
That is just why I stand by the standpoint of just remove outlaws by now.
Remove out. I will agree with that. And I have one more PV question before we leave it alone for the rest of the podcast. The most recent episode of Banners of North America was a community member, a guest, and we talked about opening up the map. I think it was him who introduced the idea, if not Zach Atria, opening up the map. And this is his comment reading from the Happy Minecraftian. Opening up the map is idea will give more to hold, thus more smaller wars. Different settlements could have different fertility or gear sets, anything to give them value and uniquity, and make them more unique, maybe even giving passive income to faction leader, or having leader be able to give fiefs, could change organization and logistics, and there is so much potential in simply making the map bigger. Would love to see the day. Beloved comment.
Yeah, of course. You could see as that. For me personally, I'm going to say this as a personal note. We tried that. We tried that 2 maps ago. Everyone got on the server. They said the map was too big, and then the next day before the next day even came, they quit. And I will say that because that was August 23rd, 2024.
Well,
Can I ask, was there an epicenter of the map where like all of the major towns and castles were, or was it not like that?
There was a lot of space. There was a big, and I mean a very big commoner town. You had a tavern that was interactable, a church, a clan that could live inside the castle that was inside the town, and then a town watch castle that was inside the town as well. And it's and I'll also say now, EU was able to keep on playing it, and they did play it. There were times where like you just see one kingdom that owned the castle inside the Connor city, go down, and when it was an outlaw infested, that clan would just wipe out the entirety of outlaws inside the city.
Something
They
to be
do
said
it
for that.
on routine.
It sounds like that's something that you would like, based on
I
what you
very
say.
much would.
So, does that mean that you would support a big map?
I mean, I always love big maps. Simply because I believe it brings life. It lets you have different battles over areas and different smaller battles.
You also could have
But
different
then,
mappers showcasing their different skills if the
but
mapping
then
team is.
the problem, there's always the chance that they just say, "Hey, this map is too big," and they quit.
Well, maybe some
True.
kind of middle ground could be reached.
Yeah, there probably is a middle ground. I don't know if there's ever been like a deep discussion on this, but maybe we can do episode 5 or I don't know, episode 10 or something like that. I remember the question now, but I'll ask it after this sentence. Another future episode could be maybe 3 or 4 clan leaders with us, Warband, and we can debate the positives and negatives of the mapping, and maybe I could even get some mappers on here if I know any mappers, and we can have them
Yeah,
give their
that would
point
be
of
a
view.
great episode. We just have to make sure that we have at least one clan leader who really supports the big map, because it almost seems like when you talk to clan leaders, they, for some reason, they seem to almost usually prefer the small map. I don't know why.
Maybe we can have them elaborate that. So we'll have definitely a very very anti big map, very very pro big map, and I guess a neutral. Okay, so the next question I was going to ask you, Cookie, is you organize things with a lot of different clans. You have in your server, I think, many different clan leaders, members of communities and such like that. Uh, Besides Gondor, VK, Jaw, KOTF, Atria. What are some of these smaller clans, the ones that we haven't heard their names a lot, some of the ones that you want to spotlight, like shout them out, get their names known, and
Well,
what are some of the ones that you particularly like? Just personal opinion.
that's a really tough one, really, because like those are the clans you just listed out are the clans that, in my personal opinion, they are the ones that interact with the NA community the most. So when you have other clans that, sure, they're here, but they don't interact at all with the NA community yet, or on such a scale, it's hard to even think of them. Really. Like you have clans like you have VMC, the Verdar. I cannot say the first word correctly, but they're a mercenary company. That's their whole sticker. They're kind of like, in my personal opinion, when I see them, they're led by a guy named Spartacus, but they're like a lesser version of Tall or Yang. You then have the Ordo Militaris, led by their clan tag is OM, which is their group is very isolationist. I mean, very isolated. They have their own event that they host at the end of the month Friday. And don't get me wrong, the guy that made the event, the guy that made the mod packs, it's a beautiful, gorgeous mod. I mean, I love the maps, I love the mod pack, but they are, in my personal opinion, why their event fails at times is because they don't interact with the community at all. They're that far isolated that you don't really know about them. You then have, let's see, you have groups like Soul, the Stern Guard of Essel. They're led by a guy named Holocron Darksbane, I believe. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I don't really have much information about them as well. Besides that, they're another. Even then, I have really no information about them. All I know is that they attend my event. You then have like another clan that's called the HRE, the Holy Roman Empire. They're another small clan. They've been here around though. They've been around though for a while, to my knowledge. Yet they're forever small. You then have like another clan. You have two clans recently that have come into fruition before my clan, like after reforming my clan or after reforming my clan. There's a group clan called TCOP, the Crown of Prussia, led by Imperator Gilly. They're a holdfast regiment that's come over to Bannerlord, and they're playing events. You then have House Hiddlemore. They're out medieval. They're like a medieval house, to my knowledge, but they make their own custom assets, so they're cool. That's like the cool thing about it. But even then, they're a small group.
Okay, so you went through there a few of the lesser known names, but some of the ones that are maybe upcoming or ones that people should look into more.
Of course, like they're most likely like the brand. I would say the brand new faces
Brand new
that come
faces.
to who've come to NA Bannerlord. Not HRE, ON, or Soul, or even DMC though. I'm primarily talking like pointing out TCOP and House Hellmore. Yeah, their clan text HH.
Hmm.
I could be wrong though. I could very much be wrong.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll do some research then. And first things first, I'll invite if you just said your name, or I mean, if you're an NA clan leader at all, I'm gonna invite you on the show. And give your thoughts and talk about stuff. But particularly for the new clans, the upcoming clans, the smaller clans, you need to have more eyes on you. So that's our job, and hopefully we'll be eventually at a point where we won't have to say the same 3 or 4 names every 20 minutes.
Like, if you really wanted as well, you could go with every group that's splintered off from what like bigger known NA groups. Like VK. VK has had they've had a few. You have Norway, the Yardom of Norway, led by Forsaken Antidotes.
Okay.
You have House of Madros there, who they're not new. I don't think they came off from VK, but I do know that they are reformed. They came back. They were with a clan called they were partnered with another clan called the Rodogs, which they're long gone to my knowledge. But they've reformed basically and rebranded as the House of Nadros because they used to be the same thing.
Hmm.
Which then, if you do want to bring up more splinter groups, you can go with every single group that's left from HDA. That's then reformed.
I know
Which
HTA is one of the bigger ones, right?
HCA, yes. HCA was an entire 100+ clan sub clan inside HCA.
We'll have to get their leader on next episode or something like that if we can get him.
Yeah. And you have my clan, which is Bloodhole, which we formed. We tried a merger because Atria ideals suited with everything that we wanted. When such ideals kind of collapsed, we left. We left with our 10 to 20. But it was still enjoyable. Then you have like groups like OM. OM is OM splintered. They splintered off from HBA. They were led by a guy named Godfrey or something, but his Discord is Palliatos. Cool dude. Let's see. Yeah, that's it.
Well, yeah,
That's
we've
really
done
all right.
we've done a lot of recalling. We'll have to do the rest of the research ourselves. There's an effort in listening, and there's an effort in going and looking for it yourself. So I will make that effort, and I'm sure many in the audience will want to play games with these people and talk to these people. Maybe not maybe not DM them, but
Maybe you can send us some of the if you have any contact info about any clan leaders, you can send that to us, of course.
for sure.
I mean, I believe.
And I
I
just sorry, I
like.
just have to say I do have to go now, so you guys can continue this if you like, but I will be leaving now. So it was a great interview. Thank you for coming on the show, and we hope to have you again.
Of course. One thing I would say, if you really want to get in contact with any clan leaders, you could always just come to our event Discord. It's meant for the clan leaders and clan officers to join our events. But I mean, you could always use it. Which I think I found out the problem why my microphone is so strange.
Why is that?
It is using my webcam microphone this entire time.
Oh, that's why it sounded like you were walking around the
that
room.
would so explain everything. Like honestly, I'm a bit saddened that like I just found that out.
I think people would have loved if the whole episode had this audio, but we'll cherish it for what we have now, and we'll fix it next time you come on the show.
Yeah, but yeah, if you ever want to bring me back on the show, ask me questions about what I believe about clan leaders or clans in general. You can always do that. I'm not sure how long you would like to keep this going, as you did lose a warband.
Yes. Well, all of our questions, just in case the audience didn't know, if it wasn't completely obvious, we do script not the whole thing. We have questions that we ask, and the conversation goes off from there. We're done with all the questions now. We've gone through the comments. Oh, Brandon Winter said, didn't bring up HCA in your earlier list. Is tragic. He's never gonna play repo with you again, Cookie.
Okay, we both know that's a lie.
You both know that's
We
a
both
lie.
know that's a
Okay.
lie.
Okay. Well, so I think we're all done here. We're gonna say goodbye to the audience, good night, and share it wherever you can. Send it to 2 people in your DMs, and yeah, that works.
I will say before we do cut off here,
Mhm.
Lomiei, if you do want to talk like to another guy who's entirely unclan affiliated, so like he's not part of any clan, there is a public Discord by him. His name is Amelston. He leads a Discord that's called the Order of Whispers,
The Order of
which is
Whispers.
it's a place. It's like a bookmark of every single clan that's in existence currently.
Okay, that's very useful.
He puts it. He sends you. You could check there where you find clan discords, what they're about, who they are, and even a list of events. Which is it's really cool. It's awesome.
Yeah, it does sound cool. I mean, that's hard work. Sounds like getting all that stuff together consistently.
It very much is. But yeah.
So, if that is all, then that is all from me, and it is all from the viewers. Had a lot of commenters this time, not as much as I think the Atria one or the VK one had the most comments for obvious reasons. But
Yeah, I do believe that you can't really, you don't really know, you can't really ask questions about a clan you don't really know.
Yeah.
Like VK, they've been around for like 7+ years. Atria's been around for like, I don't even know anymore. Compared to like a clan that's just here recently, that's new, that's bringing a lot of life into the NA community. You don't really know about what questions to ask them.
Yeah. And I mean the first, not the first. I'm sure y'all's content is very well spread, but the one of the first historically things that HRBH does is having its leader come on and share its views and have a deep conversation, unfiltered conversation, in general unscripted conversation for the community to understand more of what we're about over here. So I think everybody appreciates it, and I certainly do more than anyone else.
No, but yeah, it was nice being here.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to end now. Good night, and God bless you all.